talk about it. Artists and entertainers. We got breaking news. Breaking news. The artists and entertainers are losing. That's right. They are losing a lot of money. Let that sink in. Let's money. Not money. 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 So let that sink in. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the page. What's good? Now, let's get to it. If you're new here, subscribe to the page. Hit the notification bell. I'm sorry about that. I apologize. Somebody came through, knocked us off. Knocked us off the chat. Apologize. That wasn't YouTube's fault at that time. That was completely somebody texting my phone. Now, let's get to the point. Here's the problem. In 2020, because there were no venues, concerts were less and less, people could not travel. Plans were made, and people do things as entertainers and athletes and musicians do things. They do things like a little bit differently than how we perceive. They went ahead and did some things that weren't usually abundant. They spend sometimes a lot out of their means, more than probably we do, because they have access to higher ends of credit. Which means if they have something coming up that's going to pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars, the bank might loan them money in advance to say, well, he's good for it because he's getting $300,000 a show for here. He's going to get another one here, and then COVID comes in March, shuts everything down. So the whole summer, you lose everything. All that revenue. Now, some people, this was their livelihood. And a lot of them didn't have homeowners insurance. So they weren't really protected. So a lot of these artists and entertainers had to go to other resorts to try to make ends meet. They start doing things like, hi, follow my Cameo, or hey, I'll write you an email if you send me this $5. They start going to all these different extremes to try to make ends meet. Don't forget to hit the like button. So they've lost over 30% of revenue, which don't sound like a lot, right? It's a lot of money. When you lose 30%, some people, that's just some. Many have lost 60 to 70% of revenue. People right now are in hard debt that are artists and entertainers. People that was on TV shows, the whole nine. You know that girl that everybody loved on Cobra Kai, Aisha? You see, she's not back on this season, right? On the new season. She's not in the new season. They had it that she moved away because of the big fight that happened at the end of season 2. But she was a likable character. And she's noticeably gone. And it was like, man, Aisha gone away. She was the best friend to the daughter. But she had all kind of problems going on with her boyfriend and wrecking cars and buying stuff and crazy spending money. Next thing you know, COVID hits and she's in debt. So a lot of artists that you see were in a big heap of trouble. Artists that are into television shows, a lot of them are in debt because TV shows got canceled. So did they. They're not making any, they don't have any revenue kicking in. So they had to hope and wait and pray for things to open back up. So they were back doing television commercials, any little thing they could so they can make some in while they were waiting on that television show to come back around. Yeah, there are a lot of R&B singers that had a very hard time in the game. A lot of artists did because they weren't able to tour and do shows. Artists get, if you don't have a 360 deal, you keep 100% of your revenue on the shows, meaning you don't have to spend that with the record company. That's you. You're gonna have to pay your taxes on it, but that's your money. Regina King is fine. She's got a great agency. They got Regina King taken care of. Don't worry about Regina King. She's directing movies. She's doing great. But there are other artists who aren't Regina King. Smaller artists. That were struggling and having a rough time at it. "2020 was Faison Love." Faison had a rough go doing a comedy search. And Donald Faison, since we staying with Faison, Donald Faison, the guy from that we seen on Scrubs, he had a rough patch last year. A lot of people are borrowing money. Tiger, we already know him. He stays in this debt. He's already being sued again for not paying rent on a mansion. So they're losing 30% of their revenue, some even more. Because without a place to showcase your art, to actually get ticket sales, is going to hurt you. And when you're a rapper, there's not a lot of insurance money for you. A rapper's show is not insured. Hip hop concerts, most of that stuff don't have insurance. So you know what that means? There's no way to really back it. A lot of nightclubs where you perform, they've been shut down. Some of them are not opening back up. And those little hip hop spots are a community where people to go out and buy your records. They get to see the artist. They get paid for a show. And that's where the money is generated. Right there. He's like, hence why T.I. was in Monster Hunter. Exactly. Now, T.I. is somebody who was out here who was basically making some good money. But his money and his bills we'll never understand. Because he might make good enough money for us, but in his world, he broke. Another person whose career was struggling and nobody really wants to grab or get anything for, moving forward. And she was struggling, even though she had a bit part. She was very successfully picked up by DC, was making good. Making good. Now she's getting more roles and prominent, based on her husband and her relationship. He's in the church heavy, and for them, as a brand, they have done well, but things have been tight. Things have been tight. Now things are starting to open up a little bit. You know who things weren't tight for? Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise said, y'all better open these damn doors. Tom Cruise said, y'all better open these damn doors. And what did they do? They opened them damn doors for Tom Cruise. They said it's banned except for Tom Cruise. Nobody could travel international, but Tom Cruise could. Because Mission Impossible was more important than your health and anything else. Tom was not going to be denied. So artists like DaBaby. DaBaby couldn't make, but he's already made his money. So guys like that are okay. If you was nominated for a Grammy, you straight. Freddie had a rough year, even though it was his best year. He couldn't really go out and do the shows to really get the money and generate it. Benny the Butcher had a great album that he could not go out and promote properly and be paid properly. But since he signed with Roc Nation, they're actually taking the hit because they know that they streamed very well. So now you're just basically living off your streaming. And everybody knows that's money to come down the road. That's not that here and now money. So things are looking up, man. I mean, as far as the real coming back, but once they start doing shows and concerts again, and people can get back to making their money, then things will start to get better. But right now, like I told you, 2021, you're going to start seeing the blowback. Things are not going to start getting back to normal till probably another year. So if everybody think like, well, we're gonna go back to normal now, I wouldn't count on it. I wouldn't hold my breath on it. This entertainment business is not what you think it is. It is really hurting right now. And the way the movies are right now, the artists went into a negotiation to get part of revenue sharing now in order for the structure for them to be paid for movies. They just had to sit down with the unions to do that. There is no music union. There is no hip hop union. Lakeith Stanfield, he's another artist that's hurt by this. It's a lot of people hurt. But he's signed to a great agency, so he's an A-lister. Like, he's gonna get the A call. He's gonna get the first call. Lakeith Stanfield is a great actor. Outstanding actor. And the other black actor he's suffering right now. And he plays the RZA in the Wu-Tang Saga, who was in actually the Equalizer 2. He's an up-and-coming artist. I can't remember his name, but that guy, they're struggling. Dave East, struggling. And I hate to name drop these people, but they're not alone. You know, I'm just giving you guys a glimpse that it's not all, roses. Everything is serious out here. And especially for black entertainers, it wasn't a lot of opportunities for us. And these fests and these functions that they put together, we needed these things. Most of it was revenue, promotional events that you were paid for appearances. That stuff is gone. Everything now is Zoom. So they got to circumvent on how they're getting paid. So now artists are going to be paid a revenue share of what the movie does, even when it's streaming now. Because now they're not doing movie sales anymore, and how they're structured of being paid is different now. Because it's not a lot of movie theaters are going to be open now. They're shutting the majority of them down. So the Hollywood structure scene is different. And it's changing at a rapid pace. Yes, we are. So if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the page. Hit that notification bell. It's very important. Yes, they do. The pay structure. So not only does the everyday person suffer, but those people are making off better on unemployment and benefits of the government better than artists and entertainers or the people who had jobs. People who's never working in the first place when this hit, they're living like kings. The government is so keen on making sure they're okay. Everything else is just coming up roses for them. So they're loving it. Don't forget to hit the like button, good people. Right. That's why you see the insurgence of podcast shows. Artists are more available now to do these things because they need the revenue. And it's nothing wrong with needing the revenue. But I'm saying it's leading to a new structure, a new way that might not ever go back to being the same way it was. Like I just told you, the video store just closed. The very last video store there was, Family Video, where you can go and rent videos and movies, they're closing their doors. And everything was marked down. Y'all saw me live going in there getting games and stuff and movies. So it's a whole new reality. Everything is digital. Everybody wants to have something that they can't even possess or hold in their hands. They want to watch the movie digitally. Wonder Woman just proved again what they wanted to do in the future. That was just a test to see what would happen if a major motion picture was to debut at home. And when that debuted, not at the movie theater, but at home, first, you're saving money on marketing. It's cheaper to market on the internet than putting a big billboard outside where people drive by and see the billboards and see that the movie is coming. You're saving money there. And people can just go at home and assess it right there. Now you got to think of revenue sharing. How you're going to be paid is different. And benchmarks are going to be different. Because in everybody's contract, there's a certain benchmark that if you hit, you get X amount of dollars, you get X amount of this and that. So you always want to make sure that you understand the situations that are changing and how it might affect you. You know, these artists, the way they're getting paid now, and the way the unions are working on a pay structure for artists and entertainers as far as acting. What about the musicians? Why isn't there a union that protects them? Only certain ones do. Like, they have protection, but a lot of them are not insured. They're just not. They're just out there, and they're getting paid on their shows and this and that. They don't even have the information that, like, fans might know more about their business than they do. And it's sad, but this is how the game is. Well, that's because they're living 100% on streams right now. Nobody is doing shows. So if you're doing a show, you're going to have to probably do one where you stream the show and people just pay for the stream. I mean, that's how probably most of these concerts are going to be done, but it's going to be hard to monetize that, and that'll have to be negotiated through all type of streaming platforms and parties. But you've seen it done. Like AXS or whatever, they did like a concert and you could stream it online when somebody had a party. Right now, they're going to do an all-access party, like where people are going to be partying, and then instead of you going to the club, you're going to have VIP access through all these cameras that they're going to show, and you just paying. Instead of getting to the club, you're just going to pay a fee of $6.99, and then you get to view it at home, what everybody's doing inside of the party. Just for a party. And they might have live performances. Somebody might grab the microphone and perform, but you're going to be paying for parties. These are all the ideas that are out there being thrown around because this thing isn't not getting better like they thought it was. It's at the speed that they're thinking. And I'm telling people, you're going to have to go back to 2022 before things start to improve or get better. Exactly. Meg The Stallion, she's another one. Unfortunately for her, she signed with Rock Nation and they're giving her all these promotions and things to stay active, but she's somewhere that's protected. But she can't get the maximum of her dollars because she can't do shows. Now, who wouldn't go see Meg The Stallion? But she's making a lot of money off commercials. Her song music is being used for all different platforms, and that's what Rock Nation brought to the table. It became a TikTok sensation, her song, and they figured out a way to get her monetized off that. And, if you make a TikTok jingle song, that can make a lot of money. That's why Drake had the left foot right foot up. I hate that song. That song sucks. But but it was a TikTok song. It was gonna bring some money in. So when Drake sat down for 2020, that was strategic. Why waste your money and put songs out that you can't promote? You can't really go anywhere with these songs because what are you gonna do? If you put the music out, you can't go and celebrate your album. You can't tour it. You can't really promote it. Everything's gonna be basically a Zoom. So you might as well wait until things clear up to where things can get a little better. So if you're an indie artist, this is perfect for you because you really weren't doing any shows anyway. You're independent. You don't have any insurance, but you can make your money off streaming. Now you're on an even kill with everybody else. They got a name already, but now this is a good way for you to hustle hard and make your money. One independent album that I liked was AG Bando. The AG, what's that? What was it? The AK-47 album. I like that album. Oh, Griselda movement is incredible. This whole year has been all Griselda. They've controlled it. But you got to look at the narrative, and don't forget to hit the like button, people. Artists are losing 30%, some are more. Some people lost almost 80% of their revenue due to the COVID because of the situations they're in, and they're living off of loans that they're promising to get back because they had television shows. Some got canceled completely due to COVID. And then some, now it's the last season on a lot of shows. And it was a lot of people, depending on the revenue. Now they're in limbo. Remember the girl from the Black Lightning show that got picked up, distributed on Netflix? It was the CW. Now that whole cast, after this season, they're in limbo. Like some of the castmates are being picked up and going to get spinoff shows. But a lot of them are not coming back. Yeah, August, look at August. He lost all of that money due to COVID. He had his album come out. He had all this publicity with the Jada Pinkett Smith incident, and his album and his music really couldn't go anywhere. Where could it go? He wasn't on social media, really. He wasn't on the internet talking about it or really doing too many interviews besides Angela Yee. So he really didn't ride the wave. He just said it mostly as a therapeutic way to cure himself. But that was it. After he did that, it was over for him. Drive-in theaters are not even going to thrive. Most people are making things drive-in by putting a projection up against the wall during the summertime for those who want to get away. But if you have it streaming from your house, why would you go to a drive-in? Unless you just wanted to get out. Americans have become more lazy. They got their phones right in their hand. They can watch a whole movie from their hand. So, you know, we become more lazy. We want everything now. We need it quick. We have no time to waste. We don't have time for development. We can't wait for a movie to start showing us things. We want action right away. Just blow stuff up. We don't know who's who and whatever. It's like, man, this movie had a lot of explosions. I don't know what's going on, but this is crazy. Yes, but the kids are now, because of the pandemic, kids are getting more obese because they're not doing anything. They can't socialize with a lot of the other kids except for the internet. Now, normally they would go to school and be able to run around and do what kids do in the playground, and they had activities. Now, a lot of the activities are less and less. Like they're starting to get games back together again, but then when you got to start testing kids and for COVID and all things like this, it becomes a mess. You don't understand. You said they're rich, bro. They're not. A lot of the entertainers are not rich. They have a job. They have bills to pay. Some of these entertainers that you think are rich, they make like $500,000 a year. That's nothing. Some of them make $1 million a year, and with taxes and everything, they live in an area where that's the norm. And people over there, they make about $1 million or $750,000, a year. That's not a lot of money. It really isn't. It is to us, but in the real world, like where they at in entertainment, they broke. They got staff that makes that. It's about your income, your liabilities, and all the things that you have. If you're in the entertainment business, like where they live in $1 million homes. The property taxes alone over there is expensive. Most of them are living in California, which is expensive. So most of them, they share a home. Like they don't even live in a house, they rent a house. Because it's too expensive to own in California, but they need to be in that area for work. Most of them have to report to a lot, where it's not one show over there. It's a bunch of TV shows all on one lot. So in your lot, they're filming one TV show, then the other one is another TV show, then another one's another TV show. So they filming all of those on the lot. They might be filming a game show there. So it's a lot of networking going on, a lot of people there, and then they have a lunchroom where everybody just meets in the lunchroom if you own lunch at that time. A lot of these people aren't rich, and I had to know that from knowing people that was in the business. When I saw, because we see them on TV, we think, oh, they're rich, they superstars. They're not. Most of them are struggling. And that's not dissing them. It's not talking bad about them. This is actually honest and reality, that this is real. Don't forget that the like button, people. It's like 640 people in it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the page, hit the notification bell. Let people know you're real. I mean, Santana's broke. So a lot of people broke that had money, but see, that's the thing. He had money and went broke before the recession. So it's just, their vices keep you broke. If you keep spending money that you don't have, thinking you're just continuously going to make this money, and you're living outside your means, you're going to be broke anyway. It's just a matter of time. You've seen that happen to entertainers and athletes because they come into this broke. They come into this broke, and then they get a million some odd dollars right away. Just dropped in their laps. If you give a broke person $1 million, they don't know how to keep it. They're thinking what they can buy. A rich person, you give them $1 million, they thinking, how could they grow it to 2 or more, to 3, to 4? You give a broke person $1 million, they thinking what all they could buy. Rich person think what they could use to invest. So it's a mindset. And my mindset has always been different. You give me $1 million, you already know I'm gonna have about 20. You give me $1 million, I'm gonna have about 20. Easy. Cameron is he makes money, but as far as the entertainment business and the business he's in, he's broke. Cameron's broke in the status quo of the business he's in. Now, to us, he's not broke. Cam is a smart individual. His problem is he have bad vices. When you have bad vices and you have bad people around you, they're gonna pull you down. That is a true statement when they say, look at your 5 closest friends, and that's you. That's all. That's pretty much a close statement, because if you're hanging around these 5 friends all the time, you can look at all 5 of them and say, well, damn, this is why I'm not going nowhere. I need to find people that's thinking like me and hang around them. Everyone is looking at the weed dispensaries because that's the new fix. Through the prohibitionary periods, before you could even buy liquor in stores, now you can go to a liquor store in every corner. There was a time where liquor was illegal and you could not purchase it. So the prohibitionary period, it was a goal to have liquor in your house. So if you had liquor, you got it imported, you got it in illegal fashions. So the underworld gangsters, they controlled the market of liquor. They were rich and powerful. They paid the cops. They did whatever they could to keep liquor flowing. They had underground places in Florida, tunnels built to smuggle liquor and all kind of goods, Cuban cigars, everything, just so that they can pull this stuff off. Now that liquor is legal, it helped out when they went through the Great Depression. Once the jobs and stuff went down, guys went to war, the Great Depression hit, liquor was made legal, and that revenue helped out America. Now the housing market crashed, and all the Wall Street and all the banks were going bankrupt. Oh, weed. Got to make weed legal. Everybody is buying weed illegally and making a bunch of money and profit. So now we make it legal, we can tax it. And that way it's saving the economy. Do you know illegal weed sales was saving small towns who had lost businesses because the mills had shut down? And then the whole town basically went to a grow houses and had houses with plants in them. And it saved the town. Jussie Smollett isn't hurting. Jussie Smollett just did something stupid for fame. His family has money. His sister has money. So that means he has money. His family, they're all connected with the Obamas. He don't have to worry about a thing. He just has to lay low His music career suffered, his reputation suffered due to what he did before even COVID took place. So he's recovering from that. That's something he might never recover from. Am I good? No, I'm always got to work, but my job didn't change because I was always working online, digitally, or investing. So this was always my goal, but it was my attitude of thinking since I was in first grade. I mean, I've always thought the way I did. But when you're young and you poor, which me, I came from the projects. So my mentality is different when it comes to money. I went through my phase when I was young and spent money as soon as I got it. Then I realized that that's stupid. But you had that because when you're young, you never get to have anything, that you really want, unless your parents bought it for you. And they normally didn't buy you what you want, they bought you what you needed. So when you make your own money, you're like, I'm gonna spend this check on me, and I can just wild out, because I didn't have to pay any bills. So my first job, you just wilding out. You don't have to really pay any bills. You keep all your money, but you don't have a sense of what it's like when you actually have to pay bills. And I had to work with other people that have to give half their check away, and they didn't make nothing anyway. That job didn't pay you that much, and you had to give half your check away. So you basically have nothing, and you just basically going to work just to hopefully get another check, and then got to give it half away again. It's painful. I mean, I've seen parents that were pimping their kids. In other words, that's how bad it was. Don't forget to hit the like button, and if you're new here, hit the subscribe button to the page. Absolutely. If you want to support the page, my Cash App is Carceno, Karceno. No, they were getting money. It depends on what kind of parents you have. They was like, look, I'll take care of my grandbaby, but I want to get paid for it. And if she was asking so much money, it was and she was like, well, if you don't like it, then turn to a babysitter. So she knew she couldn't afford to go to a babysitter. So her mom was basically extorting her to get paid to take care of the grandkid, her own grandkid, from her own daughter. She was like, well, if you don't like it, take the kid to a babysitter. You can't afford it, right? I'm cheaper than a babysitter, so this is my price. And she's just upset, and she be crying because she get her check and got to give it all up to her mom, almost. And it was sad. But she was paying for the choices she made. She's a single mom, and this is the real world. And unfortunately, it was done like that. I mean, there's a lot of different opportunities for people, like as far as apps. They got Robinhood, they got Acorns. They have a lot of good apps for people to invest in and kind of buy stock. It's stocks out there, but you're not going to really make money off a lot of the stocks that are there. It's a lot of people who can hold their head up, be like, I own some stock in Apple. Like, yeah, but you're not going to see any money off that. It's like you got to know what's the trend, knowing what's popping. Normally, pharmaceutical stocks are the best stocks to grab, and hopefully they get sold to another company and people want to buy your shares. So it's a lot of different ways to make money and invest in. You just got to find the right thing and study it. Whatever you get into, people, study it, learn about it. When you're doing something, research it. Stop asking other people for advice on it. It's cool to get some advice, but don't, stop asking people to do it for you, basically. Like, yo, so what do I do here? It's like, dude, research it. Like, you got Google right in front of you, in your hand. You got to do the work. What's up, J Biz? Oh yeah, the Casino for Life Patreon is on fire, man. I want to thank you guys, man. We got the behind the scenes story on Dre coming up too. That's coming up. The Dr. Dre, the breaking news on that, the foul play. We got Eminem. We got a lot coming up on there. Definitely something with Eminem is coming back. We had the Eminem Snoop thing on there. You get to see Prodigy, the picture that you didn't see on the Summer Jam screen. We got that on the Patreon, and what happened and everything that was going on behind the scenes. That's on there. That's the hottest thing right now, and people don't know in about a couple hours something is going to eclipse that. The billionaire who was poisoned and killed, that's on there. So you're getting a lot of information, man. It's pretty intense. I told you we was gonna start this year off hot, and we ain't slowed down one bit. There have been 3 billionaires that have lost their lives within 1 month. Most of them have been what they all have been Chinese. You don't see something at play here? Well, people got to decide what is it that they want to get involved in and how they want to proceed and move forward in their lives as far as what direction they want to move towards as far as growth. When you move as far as growth, you're looking at different situations. A lot of you did not know that I was an executive producer for a film that was coming out. That it might not come out now, but a movie with Tom Hanks. I have the contracts. I have everything. I have signatures. I have guaranteed. Me and the firm, we found money, and we went and got the money for the film. Now that film is probably in limbo now. That was a sequel to a Tom Hanks movie. Zac Efron was going to play the son, and it was the Road to Perdition. That movie. This was the sequel, based on the book. The story continued. In the first movie, if you hadn't seen it, Tom Hanks dies at the end, and the guy leaves his son there, alive. Djvlad leaves his son alive. Now the story continues with Zac Efron playing the son as he comes and joins Al Capone in Chicago. And he starts working with Al Capone. So that story was being filmed in New Orleans. We got the license and everything for New Orleans. I have the movie script from head to toe. I have the one sheet. I have everything. Because I'm an executive producer of this film. And COVID came. And before COVID came, this movie has been getting made for 6 years. Now 7 years. 7 years. It takes sometimes 10 years for a movie to be made. You start to learn a lot about the movie and film industry. It's very cool to a degree. And you start to see how you see a movie and you start seeing the beginning credits of a movie, and you see about all those little tags that come up. You see all the screens, and you be like, man, I thought this is a Universal picture. Universal is just a major distributor who paid for the film. What you're seeing in the beginning is all the other production companies that are signed on and worked on this film. You'll see Voltage Pictures, by Bloomhouse Pictures, by Ronald Pictures, Greg Film. You'll see about 6 or 7 of those little things pop up. Then you'll see everything else, and then they kick the movie off, right? You ever see that? You probably don't really pay attention to it. But you wonder why there's so many. Because all those little companies are all fighting for a bigger position into the movie. And there's for this sequel of a movie, I've never seen so much infighting and people fighting for money that's not even there yet. And I'm like, wait a minute. If anybody should be complaining, or if anybody should be like, I should get the lion's share of the money, it would be me and my team. We're bringing the money to the table. That is our job. This is why we were the executive producers. We were bringing money to the table for the film. We were getting the film financed. The people who get the film financed, they the ones should be able to call the shots. But we weren't in it for big shots. We're not trying to run the show. But everybody who really has nothing to do, they're trying to cut people out of the deal. They're going behind people's backs. And I'm like, it was a nightmare. So if I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. I swear to you, in my life. I've never seen people that petty and fighting. And one of the guys got fired. They wanted to fire him. And he was the guy that brought us in. So if you normally, where I'm from, if you fire the guy that brought us in, you're basically firing us. They were like, no, y'all good. Y'all got a contract with us. But his company's gone. We don't want to deal with him. So basically they cut him out the deal. So imagine how he's going to feel if we're here. Like he's going to be mad at us. Not you. Us. He thinking we stabbed him in the back. When y'all stabbed him in the back. No, I'm not about to be in the movie. I was going to executive produce the movie. I was one of the co-executive producers of the film, which gave me a gross point of 2.5% of the gross. So whatever the movie made, I got 2.5% of that, plus I got $75,000 for being an executive producer of the film. That was my flat rate. It was actually $150,000, but I split that with my other partners who did the contracts. So we split 50-50. And then I get 2.5%, and then they get 2.5% ownership into the film. See, I want to be on behind the money scene. I never want to be in the movie. I want to be the one producing it. I don't want to start in the movie. I want to be the one that you don't see. I've told you, I don't want fame. Right, I'm getting points. I don't want fame. You can have fame. I want the money. Show me the bag. So you got to know how to negotiate yourself to get to that position. Now look at me, a guy who's sitting on a couch, negotiated himself into a major motion picture. Sitting on a couch. It's not an exaggeration, bruh. Now, if you could do that sitting on a couch, what else could you do? That lets you know it's all possible. It was 5% deal, but the partners that I had, Smith and Brown, we split 50-50. So I got 2.5. I was an independent contractor because I don't want Smith and Brown to pay me, even though I'm partnered with them. I don't trust them with my money. I trust me. And because I trust me with the money, this is how I want to proceed. So I wanted them to structure the contract to pay me separate as an independent contractor. Do not put us together. Separate me from Smith and Brown. Smith and Brown to get what they want. Sino gets paid what he wants. And they did it. My contract was negotiated that way. Smith and Brown got what they got. I got what I got. In writing, signed. My lawyer looked it over, approved, done, and done. Now it takes about 10 years to make a movie. So it's not like I'm sitting here balling. I'm trying to tell you that this information is very helpful for anybody out there that might want to be going down this road. It's a long process, and it's a lot of stuff that don't have nothing to do with you, and all these things have to be negotiated. Thanks, Chris. I did see your Cash App. I appreciate it, brother. Chris Hill. Writing a hood comedy. That's great. I mean, that's the thing about writing a movie. You could do it right now. You could make your movie. Most people have made their movie with a iPhone camera. No lie. Made a whole feature film with an iPhone camera. And it was excellent. It was amazingly put together and was excellently shot. Everything about it was to the letter. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. It was just so wild. Like, it's, you know, if you see something that's just unfathomable, you're like, this is insane. And when you see artists losing all of this money and revenue, it's like crazy, because you're like, man, they're losing a lot of money out here. And it's serious. So when you look at it and you like, man, it blows your mind. So when you look at it and you like, man, it blows your mind. So when you look at it and you like, man, it blows your mind. So when I look at things, it takes a different perspective of a look. Like, for instance, there's a lot of people out there that don't understand how someone who's involved in, like, let's say you're with a team and y'all built something together, right? And how a partner could come in and take ownership of it, or it's all about how it's structured, you know? So when you start seeing things about the structuring of deals and film and movies and uh-oh, I guess my dryer's done. Now, The Road to Perdition. This was the sequel, the one that I executive produced. Was one of the executive producers. Road to Purgatory, the movie, the sequel. You see this? The director, the writer, the executive producer, who was the executive producer at the time, CAA and WE, the William Morris Agency, was there. Our law firm is here. The cast, look at the cast. Stanley Tucci, Zac Efron, Tom Hanks was in negotiation. They were considering 7 weeks. Main unit was Louisiana. 7 week shooting for the film. Now, here was the marketing strategy, the sales team, everything, right? How do you get on Patreon? There's a link in my description box that takes you to my Patreon, my Casino for Life Patreon. Well, you have to understand the situation before you can start, basically responding. It's a very difficult thing sometimes when you don't have the people in place around you that show you or have the right support. You're gonna always want to have people around you that have your best interests. Me, I've always been surrounded by people that have my best interests. I was like, as long as they have my best interests, I should be okay. You know? Because at the end of the day, that's what you want. Someone that has your best interests at stake. Well, artists are losing up to 30%, and some have lost more due to COVID and the fact that the lack of the events. There was no shows. There wasn't a lot of promotional events, so they couldn't pay out. So a lot of ad money was lost. A lot of advertisers was mostly on social media. So now people who didn't have a social media platform or promoted on social media had to go to the social media realm, which mostly you've seen podcast shows. You saw all these different outlets. Some of them, they closed down filming. They couldn't even film commercials. So once that came back around, that was freeing up some revenue. People were running to do commercials now that you never would think would be in a commercial is now trying to apply for commercials, and it's hard out there for people. This is not to brag or embarrass or make people feel less and things of that nature. It's always saying, hey, you guys gotta, it's tough. Everybody got to realize that just because it's 2021 don't mean things have gone away. We still got to deal with this situation. COVID is knocked out everything, and the world is structuring different now. You've seen the video store closed down, family video closed. We're facing losing now. We're facing losing the movie theaters. See, look at that. That's for the movie. 25 million they were seeking. Right? And there's your man Sino, 2.5 ownership. Look at that. 75,000. So they're gonna pay me the 35,000. That's wrong, actually. Okay, this is the first draft. No, I got 75. And I got part ownership of the film. So the thing is, what I'm trying to tell you guys, okay, hold on. Let me switch this back around. What I'm trying to tell you guys is that you have to negotiate things in a contract. If you have your lawyers, you got to have an entertainment lawyer. That means that there's different lawyers for different things. One guy might be a bodily insurance lawyer. He has no experience in the entertainment field, and they know tricks around the trade that could take them to pieces. So just don't think someone's a lawyer and they could do that. I sat here and negotiated this deal. I fought, clawed, and scratched to negotiate a deal where I can be in a major motion picture, an executive producer. Oh, well, thank you. The thing is, that deal was done back in 2014. That shows you how long it takes to make a movie. Now, this movie may never get made. Now, they're looking at this film grossing about 30, 40 million. I would get 2.5% of probably 30 to 40 million dollars. You feel me? Yeah, I get that up front. That's just my fee. I get paid that up front because I'm splitting that with Smith and Brown. Plus, I got royalties. So any type of promotion or anything, any money the movie makes, video, DVD streaming, movie rights, I get 2.5% for the rest of my life. So those are called points. In movie business, it's called points. So I got 2.5 points in that film. Of course I'm mad. I'm frustrated. But they don't stop me because there's other deals that can be made. This is just one deal on a film. This one deal would have got us established, and then we could have really made some things happen. We were able to generate and find money and actually do the work, and it was hours and hours of work. How did I get into it? I researched. Well, I keep doing it, Tori. I keep my head up and keep moving forward, and I keep striving. That's the thing. Like I told you before, I dated a girl who just was content, and people didn't thought that was gonna be my girl. Like people we work with thought like, y'all the cutest couple. It's like we got along great. That was not our problem. We were not gonna make it in the long run. I would have been miserable, and I would have made her life miserable because I already know that if she's not goal oriented, she's totally okay with just going to work, doing her job, coming home. She wants kids and want to lay in the house, and that's not me and her is not gonna mix. I'm goal oriented. I want to go forward. I want to continue to move forward. I can't just be stagnated and say, let's chill here and do nothing and just chill here all day every day. You go to work, I come home, same routine every day. That would drive me insane. I'll be outside. I'll be like, I'm going outside. I can't stay in this house today. Where are you going? I don't know, but I'm getting out of here. No, I need someone that understands what we need to be both together as a team, doing the same thing, or not doing the same thing, understanding what I need to do. Now, if she was understanding that, okay, I understand that I need to let you go ahead and do what you got to do. I can't force you to play house, because that's what she wants. She's mad I can't go to her mom's birthday party because I'm making videos and editing and couldn't ready to cover the fight. She can't understand. It's another fight. I thought it was this week. I'm like, look, this is what I do, babe. This is what I do. This is what I did before I met you. It's what I'm doing now. So either you're with it or you're not with it, babe. But this ain't gonna work. That's what I'm saying. It's harder and harder out here. If you look at what's out here now, it's slim pickings. It's slim pickings because it's not a lot of goal-oriented people anymore. And people think like, man, you just got to find somebody that want to be on the internet like you. No, you don't. No, you don't. That is not what you want. She gonna be like, I want to be in your stream. I need to do this, and then you can help build my brand. I'll be like, oh no, that ain't what you want. That's not what you want. I'll be like, I'm not trying to build your brand. I'm still trying to build mine. You just have to understand that she has to understand that what you're doing is for the both of them, and she's got to do her part, and that's for the both of y'all too. And be like, look, I'm gonna support you with your thing, but you got to be able to stand on your own sometimes and do you, and I got to stand on my own over here and do me. But then when we done, you got me. I'm with you. Let's go. But you got to understand that I have to make deals for that. No, that's no diss to Jenny. Jenny is not my girl. That's different. I'm talking about a girlfriend who wants you to build a brand and all that stuff. Jenny wants my help because, that's what she wanted. She needed. I had no problem helping Jenny. Because she's building a brand for herself. She's not with me. Right, she took advice and go with it. That's entirely different. No, I'm talking about dating a girl. I dated a girl who was supposed to do it. And she wanted me to help her out and the whole thing. And we made a video on my page. I forgot where it was. And she was going to do hot yoga and all this on her channel. And she couldn't get a Chromebook to work. I was like, hey, did you make the video? Because you promoted it on my page. Did you do your video? No, because I couldn't get my Chromebook. I said, you're done. This is a hard thing to do. People think that all you do is... People think all you do is point a camera, hit record, make your video, and then you leave. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's so much that goes on outside of it that's tedious, but it's necessary. Yes, it's a lot of work, a lot of effort. we've got to, you just got to find a way to make things click in your mind. Yeah. Gold is always a good investment, but it's just sometimes it's hard to get paid off gold. You know, like gold is so much, you have to spend so much to get gold that you're basically going to be making your money back. But that gold is a thing that you hold on to throughout your time. You know, you got to know how to use gold to leverage to get other things, but gold is not something you want to relinquish because it's one of the highest commodities there is. Exactly. Gold is an insurance. So you're purchasing gold, you're basically using that as clientele. You know, you can leverage that to get money. Hit the like button, good people, and don't forget to subscribe to the page. Hit that notification bell. Where are we going to take gold? To a pirate? Unfortunately, a lot of places around this world deals in currencies of gold, and other places, they still take gold. So a lot of countries still take gold, buddy. People forget that was the currency before paper money came around. Bitcoin, if you understand the cryptocurrency system, cryptocurrency, yeah, that could turn into something. But like I said, it's always timing on things. So you just always got to be looking for the next best thing. I told you about fuel oil, that revenue stream, how to get paid off that. Told you, research. Research, research, research. And the more you research, the more things going to work out for you. All right? Now I'm going to get out of here. Want to make sure I see all you guys back. Don't forget to check out the Patreon, the Casino for Life Patreon. Definitely subscribe to that, because then you get to hear and see things over there that we can't be allowed to talk about here. Love, peace, and hair grease.